Have you ever felt the sheer exhaustion of just choosing? What to wear, what to eat, which email to answer first, which career path to take, which relationship to invest in? In our modern world, we're told that freedom is about having limitless options. But what if that very limitlessness is becoming a cage? There's a term for this in psychology: decision fatigue. It's the quiet burnout that comes from making too many choices, big and small, day after day. This feeling of being overwhelmed isn't new, it's a deeply human experience. And it's this very feeling that led me back to a profound piece of ancient wisdom. A promise found in the book of Psalms. Many have spoken about God's guidance. But today, we're going to look at it from a completely different angle. We're not just going to reread a comforting verse. Instead, we will connect this timeless truth to the very real, modern-day struggle of decision fatigue and the paradox of choice. Together, we'll uncover how surrendering control isn't about losing freedom, but about finding a profound sense of peace and purpose in a world that constantly demands more from us. The divine editor in the age of infinite choice. The steps of the godly are ordered by the Lord. Psalm chapter 37 verse 23. The original video draws its core strength from a beautiful passage in Psalm chapter 37, verses 23 to 24. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though they stumble, they will never fall, for the Lord holds them by the hand. This is a cornerstone of faith. But let's pause and really dissect that first line. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. For years, I interpreted the word godly as a benchmark for moral perfection. I thought this promise was only for the saints, for those who had it all figured out. And because I knew I wasn't perfect, I unconsciously kept a distance from this promise, as if I hadn't yet earned it. But what if godly here doesn't mean flawless? What if it simply means one who is oriented towards God? Someone whose heart, despite its imperfections and stumbles, is genuinely trying to face the right direction. When we see it this way, it's no longer a conditional contract but an open invitation. It's a promise for the strivers, the seekers, the ones who get back up after they fall. A split screen. On one side, a person looking stressed, scrolling endlessly through an online store. On the other, a serene image of a single, clear path through a forest. Now, let's connect this to our modern lives. The psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his groundbreaking book, The Paradox of Choice, argues that while some choice is good, more choice isn't necessarily better. In fact, an overabundance of options often leads to anxiety, indecision, and dissatisfaction. We spend so much time and energy weighing every possible outcome that we become paralyzed. And even after we choose, we're haunted by the ghosts of the choices we didn't make. This is where the idea of God ordering our steps becomes revolutionary. In an age of chaotic, infinite choice, God's guidance isn't a restriction, it's a relief. It's like having a divine editor for the story of your life. An editor doesn't take away your voice, they help you find the clearest, most powerful way to tell your story by cutting through the noise, the clutter, the unnecessary subplots. When we pray for guidance, we are essentially asking the great editor, of all the paths I could take, which one is essential to the story you are writing through me? This reframes surrender completely. It's not passive resignation. The original video rightly points out that this isn't fatalism, the bleak belief that what will be, will be. Fatalism is giving up. Faith, in this context, is an act of collaboration. It is the conscious, courageous act of handing the editor's pen back to the author. Let's use a modern analogy. Think of your life as a journey and God as the most sophisticated GPS you could ever imagine. You still have to drive the car. You have to turn the wheel, press the pedals, and navigate the traffic. But you trust the GPS with the route. Why? Because you know it has access to satellite data, traffic patterns, and a map of the entire terrain that you can't possibly see from the driver's seat. Sometimes, it might ask you to take a detour that seems strange or illogical. It might lead you down a quiet side street when the highway seems faster. But you follow, because you trust that it knows the destination and the best way to get there. Active trust in God is just like that. It's praying your way through the day, as the original message suggests, not as a passive passenger, but as an engaged driver who is in constant communication with their navigator. It's saying, okay, God, I'm at this intersection, left or right? It's the moment-by-moment practice of looking up from the confusing dashboard of our own limited perspective and listening for the next clear, simple instruction. The miracle isn't that the car drives itself. The miracle is the peace that comes from knowing you're on the right road, guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. The intimate detail in the grand design. So, we have this incredible image of God as our navigator, liberating us from the paralysis of choice. But the original message goes even deeper. And this is where it gets truly breathtaking. It introduces the idea that God not only directs our steps, but He numbers them. The video references the book of Job, where he says, "For then you would number my steps, you would not keep watch over my sin." Job chapter 14 verse 16. And it connects this to Jesus' own words in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 30. But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. A close-up shot of a single grain of sand on a beach, then pulling out to reveal the entire coastline. Or a close-up of a single brushstroke, pulling out to reveal a masterpiece painting. Now, the original video uses this to build a beautiful case for God's meticulous care and involvement. And that is absolutely true. But I believe we can uncover an even more profound, more resilient layer of truth if we look at the context of that verse from Job. The book of Job is not a story of easy faith, it's a raw, agonizing cry from the depths of profound suffering. When Job says this, he isn't necessarily celebrating, he is wrestling. He is, in essence, saying, God, my life is so fleeting and full of hardship. Yet your attention to my every move is so intense. What does this mean for us? It means God's attention is not reserved for our good days. He isn't just numbering the steps we take in the sunshine. He is also present, counting, and intimately aware of every single step we take through the valley of the shadow of death. He numbers our steps of grief. He numbers our steps of confusion. He numbers the steps where we stumble and the moments we feel utterly lost. His attention is not a fair-weather friendship. It is an all-encompassing, relentless, loving presence that sees and values every single part of our journey. This completely transforms the analogy the original video uses about business planning. While that analogy is useful for understanding structure, it can feel a bit corporate and detached. I prefer to think of it like the art of creating a mosaic. Show footage of an artist working on a large, intricate mosaic, close-ups on individual, seemingly random colored tiles. If you look at a single tile from a grand mosaic, it might make no sense. It could be a strange shape, a dark or jarring color. You might think, this piece is ugly, it doesn't belong, it's a mistake. But when you step back and see the entire masterpiece, you realize that exact dark tile was essential. It provided the contrast needed for the brighter colors to shine. Its sharp edge formed a crucial part of a beautiful curve. The final image would be incomplete and less beautiful without it. Our lives are like that. The steps that feel like mistakes, the seasons of darkness, the painful detours, these are the dark tiles. In the moment, we can't understand their purpose. But the master artist is placing each one with intention, numbering them not as a record of our failures, but as essential pieces of a breathtakingly beautiful story that we cannot yet see in its entirety. He knows exactly how your moment of struggle today provides the depth and contrast for the redemption and joy He is leading you towards tomorrow. The video also speaks of God's involvement in our day-to-day schedule, comparing it to a manager who doesn't just delegate and forget, but follows up. Let's elevate that image from a manager to a master craftsman, an elderly, kind-faced carpenter guiding the hands of a young apprentice. They are working together on a beautiful piece of wood. Imagine a master carpenter teaching an apprentice. The master doesn't just hand them a block of wood and say, "Good luck, see you in a week." No, the master stays close. They watch every measurement, every cut, every stroke of the sandpaper. Their intense gaze isn't one of judgment, but of profound investment. They correct the angle of the chisel. They steady a trembling hand. They point out the grain of the wood. This constant attention is the greatest act of love and commitment a master can show. It is the only way the apprentice will ever learn, and the only way the piece of wood will become what it was meant to be. This is the God who numbers your steps. He is the Master Craftsman, leaning in close, not to tally your errors, but to guide your hands. His involvement in the mundane, ordinary details of your day is his way of saying, I am deeply invested in you. You are my work of art. And I will be with you until you become the masterpiece I have always envisioned. The host reappears, speaking gently and directly to the camera. The background is simple and warm. So, as we bring these thoughts together, we see that the promise of God ordering our steps is far more than a simple platitude. It's a powerful, practical antidote to the anxiety of our modern world. It is the freedom from the paradox of choice. It is the peace of knowing you have a divine navigator when you're lost in the fog. And it is the profound comfort of knowing that this navigator is also a master artist. A master craftsman, who isn't just concerned with the destination, but is intimately involved in every single step, every single moment, the dark tiles and the bright ones, the smooth paths and the rugged valleys. Every detail of your life matters to him. Nothing is wasted. I hope this new perspective encourages you to lean into that guidance. Not with fear, but with relief. The next time you feel that wave of decision fatigue wash over you, the pressure to have it all figured out, I invite you to just pause, take a breath, and whisper a simple prayer. God, I don't know the whole route. I can't see the final picture. Just show me the next step. You don't need the 10-year plan. You just need the courage to trust him with the next tile, the next turn in the road. And I would love to hear from you. What is one small step, one single decision, that you are actively trusting God with this week? It could be a conversation you need to have, a project you need to start, or simply choosing peace over anxiety. Please, share it in the comments below. Reading your stories is a profound source of strength for me and for everyone else walking this path alongside you. And finally, if this reflection resonated with you, if you're looking for a space to explore faith in a deeper, more thoughtful way, consider subscribing and joining our Dawnlight Devotions community. We're all in this together, learning to walk one numbered step at a time. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Be kind to yourself, walk in grace, and trust the navigator.